Have you ever found yourself so completely, utterly captivated by a story, so deeply invested in its characters that the thought of it actually ending is almost, well, unbearable?
Oh, definitely. It's like saying goodbye to old friends.
Exactly. And what if that story wasn't just one simple tale, but like this incredibly crafted tapestry, woven from multiple lives, stretching across centuries, all kind of converging to reveal some profound truth?
Yeah, it's that unique blend, isn't it? That personal connection to a character's journey, but then also that bigger realization that their individual struggles, their whole life is part of something far, far grander. It's about seeing a beloved saga hit this really critical point. It gives you closure, sure, but it also somehow opens doors to even bigger mysteries down the line.
That's precisely the journey we're setting off on today. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to meticulously unpack your sources, dig out those golden nuggets of knowledge, and hopefully leave you instantly well-informed.
Get you right up to speed.
Exactly. And our focus today is a deep, really insightful exploration into the world of Assassin's Creed Revelations.
A big one in the series.
Huge. Our source material for this deep dive is, honestly, a truly comprehensive look at this pivotal 2011 action-adventure game. It gives us this rich tapestry of its detailed development, the intricate narrative design, those clever gameplay innovations, and its lasting, absolutely undeniable impact. Not just on the series, but maybe on gaming, too.
It really is a remarkable undertaking because this game, it doesn't just tell one story. It masterfully intertwines several distinct narrative threads, each one crucial, all connected in this rather brilliant way, both narratively and interestingly, through the mechanics, too.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we'll be uncovering that incredibly unique narrative structure, the one that bravely weaves together three distinct protagonists, Ezio, Altair, and Desmond, across wildly different eras.
Centuries apart, yeah.
We'll dissect the innovations, the thoughtful refinements in gameplay that were, frankly, critical to keeping the series feeling fresh and engaging, especially on an annual cycle.
Always a challenge.
We'll pull back the curtain on the fascinating behind-the-scenes development journey. It's a real testament to the immense collaborative effort required for a title of this sheer scale.
So many moving parts.
And, of course, we'll examine its critical reception, how people felt about it at the time, its monumental commercial success, and what all of that meant for the immediate future and, the long-term legacy of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Right.
Ultimately, we really want to understand why this particular game, often seen as just a middle chapter, maybe even just the end of Ezio's arc, holds such profound significance in what's become one of gaming's most sprawling and enduring sagas.
And look, whether you're a devoted, longtime fan, someone maybe eager to delve deeper into the lore you already love, or perhaps someone who's just heard whispers about the Assassin's Creed series but never actually picked up a controller.
Or maybe you just love seeing how complex stories and game design click together.
Exactly. Or you're simply a curious mind, fascinated by how these complex narratives and intricate game designs merge to create these incredibly immersive worlds. Well, this deep dive is absolutely for you. We're going to try and guide you through those aha moments, clarify some of those sometimes tangled connections, and hopefully leave you with a newfound appreciation for this landmark title's ambition and, frankly, its execution.
So let's really unpack this. Assassin's Creed Revelations. Just the name itself, Revelations, it suggests a grand uncovering, doesn't it?
How about?
A moment of profound discovery.
It sets expectations high.
It really does.
Oh.
And for fans who had invested years, literally years, into this expansive universe, this game truly delivered on that promise. It offered this cascade of profound truths, vital connections that tied centuries of lore together in a really deeply satisfying way.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how Revelations was designed with this kind of dual purpose. On one hand, it aimed to tie up so many lingering loose ends, particularly from the narratives of Ezio Auditore and Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad. It offered this powerful sense of conclusion for them.
A proper ending.
Yeah, a proper ending. But simultaneously, it was setting the crucial stage for what was still to come in the overarching saga. It's a remarkable piece of narrative ambition, really, trying to bring together almost 5 centuries of story through these distinct protagonists and totally disparate time periods.
It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it like that.
It really speaks to the sheer scale and maybe the foresight of the world Ubisoft was meticulously building even back then.
And it was an absolutely critical entry in the franchise, wasn't it? I mean, Revelations stands as the 4th major installment in the Assassin's Creed series. It directly follows 2010's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood,
which was also a huge hit.
Right. But its monumental importance, especially for the millions of dedicated fans, really stems from the fact that it concludes the Ezio trilogy. This alone made it such an emotional and pivotal release. You were saying goodbye, a really heartfelt goodbye, to a character, Ezio Auditore da Firenze, whom so many players had grown to genuinely love over hundreds of hours across 3 different games.
And that's a crucial narrative challenge right there, isn't it? How does a game effectively act as both a definitive conclusion and a vital bridge simultaneously?
It's tricky.
Very tricky. It's not just about ending a compelling character arc. It's about seamlessly passing that narrative baton to the next protagonist, while also elevating the stakes of the overarching plot. For Revelations, it serves as that indispensable bridge, leading directly into Assassin's Creed III and ultimately the conclusion of Desmond Miles' modern-day story arc.
So it's juggling a lot.
A huge amount. The narrative tightrope walk here is immense. You're tasked with providing satisfying, emotionally resonant closure for 2 incredibly beloved historical figures, Ezio and Altair, while concurrently ramping up the global stakes and laying concrete groundwork for the next protagonist and that overarching modern-day apocalypse narrative.
Right, the whole 2012 thing.
Exactly. It requires an incredibly delicate balancing act in serial storytelling, particularly in video games where that player investment in characters and lore runs so incredibly deep.
It truly is a testament to their planning, if they pulled it off. Now, from a core identity standpoint, the game was developed by Ubisoft Montreal, which was the flagship studio for the series.
Yep, the main team.
And published by Ubisoft itself. Pretty standard setup for the franchise then. It originally hit the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Microsoft Windows back in November and December of 2011. So right in the heart of that 7th console generation. But its enduring popularity, its undeniable importance, it's really underscored by the fact it got remastered, didn't it? As part of the Ezio collection in 2016 for PS4 and Xbox One.
And then again for the Switch.
And then again for the Nintendo Switch in 2022. That kind of continued presence, years and years after its initial release, it just speaks volumes about how beloved this trilogy, and Revelation specifically, has remained. For the dedicated fan base, sure, but also for new players discovering it.
And at its heart, it still delivered that classic blend, didn't it? That mix of action, stealth, and that expansive open-world exploration that the series had really perfected by that point.
Yeah, they had the formula down.
You navigated its rich environments from that third-person perspective, engaging in fluid parkour, strategic combat, discreet stealth. All the hallmarks were there. But this time, all those familiar mechanics, they felt imbued with this added emotional weight. You knew you were saying farewell to beloved characters.
It gave everything a bit more meaning.
Exactly. The entire experience felt both familiar, comfortable even, but also profoundly significant, like a comfortable return to a celebrated formula, but with this underlying sense of narrative gravity, of finality.
And underpinning all of this was that overarching narrative foundation that really defines the whole Assassin's Creed universe. The series has always been set in this compelling fictional history, right? Interwoven with real-world events, focusing on that millennia-old secret struggle between 2 diametrically opposed factions, the Assassins and the Templars.
An eternal conflict.
Right. The Assassins, they're dedicated to preserving peace through individual liberty, through free will, advocating for this hidden guiding hand that allows humanity to flourish, sort of unburdened.
While the Templars...
Yeah, the Templars desire peace through absolute control. They believe true order can only be achieved by imposing their will, eliminating chaos, essentially. This fundamental philosophical conflict has always been the very backbone of the entire series. It gives every action, every character struggle that deeper meaning.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just a simple conflict of good versus evil, is it?
No, it's more nuanced than that.
It's a profound, ongoing philosophical debate about the very nature of human agency and how society should achieve order and stability. Is it through absolute freedom, even with all its inherent risks and imperfections? Or is it through imposed control, through a carefully managed, maybe peaceful, but ultimately controlled order?
Big questions.
Huge questions. And Revelations puts an incredibly personal lens on this grand conflict through its interwoven protagonists. It shows us how individual lives are not only shaped by this immense historical struggle, but also, in turn, how they contribute to shaping its future. It's a story about the burden of legacy, the weight of the past, and that faint yet persistent hope for a future that aligns with either of these 2 opposing philosophies.
And the way Revelations chose to tell that story was incredibly ambitious and pretty unique for its time. You have the framing story, right? In the 21st century, with our modern-day protagonist, Desmond Miles, he's trapped in a coma after the pretty shocking events at the end of Brotherhood.
Right, Juno's influence.
Exactly. So, to awaken, and crucially, to avert the impending 2012 apocalypse, which felt like a very real ticking clock back then for both Desmond and the player he has, to delve back into his ancestral memories using the Animus.
The magic memory chair.
Pretty much. For anyone unfamiliar, the Animus is this advanced virtual reality machine that lets people literally experience their ancestors' lives. It brings their genetic memories vividly to life.
It's like the core conceit of the whole series, really.
Then the main historical story follows an aged Ezio Auditore da Firenze. This is in 1511-1512. He travels all the way to Constantinople, present-day Istanbul, on this vital quest to find 5 keys. These keys are said to unlock the fabled library of Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad, the original assassin protagonist from the very first game.
Bringing it full circle.
Completely. And while he's there, Ezio gets inevitably caught up in this massive, politically charged war of succession for the Ottoman throne. He gets tangled up with a Byzantine Templar conspiracy that aims to reclaim the city and, wouldn't you know it, acquire those very same keys for their own sinister purposes.
Of course they do.
It's this intricate dance of history, personal quests, and this overarching conspiracy.
Yes.
So many narrative plates spinning at once.
It truly is. And each of those narrative plates, each thread, is absolutely crucial to the overall tapestry of the story. Maybe we should delve deeper into these 3 intertwined destinies, because that's what makes Revelations such a special and pivotal entry in the Assassin's Creed saga.
Absolutely. Let's start with Ezio's deeply personal swan song. Because here's where it gets really interesting, especially for longtime players, right? Ezio, the charming, youthful, maybe somewhat reckless assassin we'd known for 2 entire games. He's now older, he's wiser, and perhaps with the weight of so much responsibility, he's a bit wearier too.
He's seen a lot.
He really has. And this aging process, it adds this whole new dimension to his character. He's no longer just a young man seeking revenge or, building a brotherhood from scratch. He's a seasoned Grandmaster assassin, a respected leader, on this profoundly personal quest for understanding, for closure, and maybe for answers about the Brotherhood's ultimate purpose.
What it all means.
Exactly. His journey takes him to Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, around 1511 AD. This is right as the mighty Ottoman Empire is on the rise, and political tensions are at a fever pitch. The game lets you explore these distinct, beautifully rendered districts like Constantine, Bayezid, Imperial, and Galata. Each one has its own unique atmosphere, its own challenges.
A really vibrant setting.
Incredible. And he also briefly travels to the chilling depths of Cappadocia, which is this secret underground Templar city, super creepy. And he even makes a pilgrimage back to Masyaf, the iconic old assassin stronghold from the very first game.
A real nostalgia trip for players.
Totally. And his main quest, as we mentioned, revolves around finding Altair's 5 hidden keys. They're the final puzzle pieces to unlock his fabled library and the secrets it holds.
And this naturally leads us to a crucial question for game design, doesn't it? How does a protagonist's aging actually affect player engagement and, maybe more importantly, the gameplay mechanics themselves?
Yeah, how do you make old still feel cool and capable?
Right. And the sources tell us that the developers ingeniously introduced the Hookblade to compensate for Ezio's advanced age, which is a truly intriguing design choice when you think about it.
It wasn't just a cosmetic change.
Not at all. This wasn't just a new gadget. It was a way to enhance his agility, his combat prowess. It perhaps even made him feel more fluid and capable than his younger self in certain situations. It's a clever way to acknowledge character progression, the passage of time, without diminishing the player's agency or that core power fantasy.
So instead of slowing him down.
Exactly. Instead of making him slower, they made him adaptable. It symbolizes his growth as an assassin, someone who leverages intelligence and tools just as much as raw strength or youthful agility anymore.
Then we have Altair's echoes, which, wow, these really form the foundational history of the Brotherhood itself, don't they?
They really do. Altair's narrative is experienced through these 6 profound flashback memories, each one unlocked as Ezio painstakingly finds those keys back in Masyaf.
Like little rewards?
Exactly. And these sequences, they span a colossal period of time from 1189 all the way to 1257 AD. They depict these pivotal, often incredibly tragic moments in his life. We witness his arduous struggle to lead the assassins after he was forced to kill his treacherous mentor, Al-Mualim, back in the original game.
Yeah, that was a huge moment.
These are deep dives into the very roots of the Assassin Order's principles, its evolution, its internal conflicts.
And this is where the profound loss, the immense personal sacrifice of Altaïr, truly comes into sharp focus, I think.
Absolutely. We see his brutal conflict with his former friend, Abbas Sofian. We see the devastating coup that literally rips the Brotherhood apart from the inside. And then the truly heart-wrenching, tragic deaths of his youngest son, Seth, and his beloved wife, Maria. It really is. It's a series of emotional gut punches that reveal the human cost of his extraordinary life, his dedication. Altair then goes into this self-imposed exile, just burdened by grief and betrayal, only to eventually return a broken but determined leader to kill Abbas and reclaim leadership of the order.
So he comes back stronger, in a way.
In a way, yes. The sources detail how he eventually encodes his entire life's memories, his wisdom, his pain, everything, onto these very keys, entrusting them to Niccolo Polo for safekeeping across the centuries.
Wow.
The game powerfully showcases Altair's immense sacrifices, driven by his unwavering obsession with knowledge and protecting humanity's future, which ultimately leads him to seal himself, this venerable, solitary figure, inside the library vault with his powerful Apple of Eden, just to protect it from falling into the wrong hands.
A final act of sacrifice.
Precisely. And Ezio, in reliving these intensely personal, often devastating moments through the Animus, he gains this deep, empathetic understanding of his predecessors' burdens, the weight of his choices, the true cost of their shared crusade. It creates this profoundly moving and tangible connection across centuries, solidifying the idea of a shared legacy, a shared burden.
And finally, the third thread. We have Desmond's deeply personal and pretty pivotal dilemma, trapped inside the Animus.
The modern-day anchor.
Right. After falling into that coma at the harrowing conclusion of Brotherhood, Desmond's very mind is fractured, and he's stuck in the Animus 2.0's mysterious black room. It's this sort of digital limbo.
Not a good place to be.
No. But here, he receives unexpected help from the preserved consciousness of Clay Kaczmarek, better known as Subject 16, who is Abstergo's previous and ultimately tragic Animus test subject.
The ghost in the machine.
Literally. Desmond's overarching mission becomes incredibly urgent. He has to find a cinch nexus. This is described as a key unifying memory that links him intimately to both Altair and Ezio. He needs this to reintegrate his splintered subconscious and finally awaken from his coma before his mind completely unravels.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, those Animus Island sequences, which serve as Desmond's kind of physical manifestation within the Animus, they aren't just unique gameplay segments, are they?
No, they feel very different.
They function as this powerful meta-commentary on Desmond's existential role, his role as a vessel for ancestral memory, and the inherent, frankly terrifying risks of losing one's own identity in that whole process.
Getting lost in the past.
Exactly. It's this surreal psychological landscape where Desmond is forced to confront his own fragmented identity, his past, his ultimate destiny, all while literally piecing together the broken fragments of his mind. These sequences are truly unique, offering first-person platforming and puzzle solving within this abstract Animus Island environment. And they provide this crucial, intimate narration where Desmond recounts his life before the events of the very first game.
Giving us his backstory, finally.
Yeah, providing that crucial personal context. It helps the player understand the depth of his personal struggles and the kind of unwilling weight of the legacy that's been thrust upon him.
Okay, so all these complex narrative threads, Ezio's quest for answers, Altair's enduring legacy, and Desmond's struggle for mental reintegration, they all expertly converge around this insidious Templar conspiracy unfolding in Constantinople and the grand revelations that give the game its name.
Right, the payoff.
Within the bustling Ottoman capital, you find the powerful Ottoman princes, Ahmet and Selim, fiercely quarreling over who will succeed their father as Sultan. It's a political powder keg just waiting to explode.
High-stakes politics.
And Ezio is soon drawn into this. The young, perceptive Prince Suleiman, who actually becomes an ally, asks him to investigate suspicious activities of Byzantine Templars who are subtly exploiting this royal feud for their own nefarious ends.
Always lurking in the shadows.
Always. Ezio's investigation quickly uncovers the true scope of the plot. Manuel Paleologos, a Byzantine noble with significant Templar support, is secretly raising an army. Not just to claim the throne, but to overthrow the Ottomans entirely and violently reestablish the long-fallen Byzantine Empire.
Wow, ambitious.
Very. Ezio's pursuit of Manuel takes him to that chilling subterranean Templar city, Cappadocia, a truly unsettling location. There, he ultimately assassinates Manuel and recovers what he believes is the final key. But here's the truly shocking twist, the major revelation. It's not Manuel who's the ultimate Templar mastermind. It's Prince Ahmed himself, one of the quarreling Ottoman princes.
Ah, the betrayal from within.
Exactly. Ahmed seeks to acquire Altair's library's power, not for the Byzantine Empire, but to forcefully end all conflicts in the world, imposing this rigid, controlled peace, a very Templar philosophy, right? Order at any cost.
The classic Templar goal.
And the climax of Ezio's personal story becomes incredibly painful and immediate. In a shocking act of retribution, and to secure the keys, Ahmed tragically kills Yusuf Tazim, Ezio's charismatic and beloved friend, the leader of the Ottoman assassins.
Oh man, Yusuf was great.
He really was. And then Ahmed kidnaps Sofia Sartor, Ezio's burgeoning love interest. Ezio, desperate to save Sofia, agrees to trade the precious keys for her life. But after a harrowing rescue, he fiercely pursues Ahmed, recovers the keys, and confronts him in this final, brutal showdown.
Payback time.
Well, almost. Ahmed is ultimately killed, but not by Ezio. He's killed by Selim, who, having emerged victorious from the succession war, is now the Sultan. Ezio himself is spared by Selim, mostly due to Suleiman's powerful endorsement, but he is curtly ordered to leave Constantinople for good. His mission is fulfilled, but his time in the city is well and truly over.
It's a bittersweet victory for Ezio, isn't it? And the narrative continues its rapid convergence. After Ezio completes this pivotal memory sequence, the Animus begins this critical system flush, threatening to delete excess data, which includes Desmond's own fragmented consciousness.
Oh no.
Right. At this critical moment, Clay Kaczmarek, Subject 16, makes this heroic, self-sacrificing choice. He deliberately allows his own consciousness to be erased to save Desmond from being deleted from the Animus.
Wow, he sacrifices himself.
A profound act of selfless heroism. Ezio and Sofia then return to Masyaf, where Ezio finally uses all the keys to unlock Altair's fabled library, and here's arguably the most provocative moment of the entire game.
The big reveal inside.
He finds it seemingly empty, save for Altair's skeletal remains seated in a chair, clutching a sixth, previously unknown key. Through this final, silent encounter, Ezio understands the truth. The library wasn't a repository of books at all.
It was a vault.
It was a vault, meant to house Altair's powerful Apple of Eden, and Altair had sealed himself inside, dedicating his last moments to protecting it from ever falling into the wrong hands.
So what does this all mean for Ezio, and I guess for the player experiencing this?
Well, understanding the immense sacrifices Altair had made, the profound losses he endured due to his relentless obsession with seeking knowledge and protecting the world, Ezio makes a truly profound choice.
Yeah.
He leaves the Apple of Eden there, untouched, stating with this weary wisdom that he had seen enough for one life.
Wow.
And this isn't just a simple line of dialogue, right? It's a deeply resonant moment. It's about breaking the cycle of obsession that had consumed so many before him, including Altair himself. It signifies Ezio's growth beyond simply collecting artifacts or pursuing revenge. He finds peace and purpose in a different way now.
He's learned the lesson.
He really has. And then, in this breathtaking meta moment, Ezio speaks directly to Desmond, knowing somehow that his distant descendant is watching him through the Animus. He acknowledges his own role as a conduit, a messenger in wisdom passed across centuries. And he expresses this profound hope for Desmond, hope that he will find the ultimate answers and make all of their collective suffering, all their sacrifices, truly worth it.
Chills. Just chills.
It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And this incredible narrative thread leads directly into the overarching modern-day conclusion of Revelations. Jupiter, a member of the first civilization, that ancient, highly advanced precursor race.
The Isu.
Right, the Isu.
Yeah.
Whose technology and prophecies shaped humanity's past, whose artifacts like the Apple of Eden are these powerful tools capable of mind control, illusion, revealing hidden knowledge. A constant point of conflict between assassins and Templars.
Yeah, they're central to everything.
Jupiter appears as this holographic projection via Altair's Apple. He explains that their ancient race had meticulously studied various methods to save Earth from a predicted destruction, similar to the one that wiped them out. And they had transmitted all the collected data to a central vault, a place of immense power, the Grand Temple.
Okay, so there is a solution.
Possibly. Jupiter gives Desmond this critical, urgent instruction. He must find the Grand Temple before an impending, devastating solar flare uncannily similar to the one that annihilated the first civilization, obliterates all of humanity.
The clock is ticking again.
Louder than ever. In the game's final moments, Desmond dramatically awakens from his coma. He finds his loyal companions, Rebecca and Sean, along with his father, William Miles, standing over him. And he tells them with this newfound clarity and purpose that he now knows precisely what they must do. As the camera pulls back, we see them arriving at the very entrance of the Grand Temple.
Wow, what an ending. It's not just a journey for Ezio then. It's this profound, multi-generational message, culminating in Desmond finally understanding his ultimate world-saving purpose and stepping into his destined role.
An epic payoff for years of intricate storytelling, truly.
It really is. But, okay, a game, especially one in an annual franchise, can't just rely on its narrative, no matter how good it is. It also needs compelling and hopefully evolving gameplay. And Revelation certainly focused on evolving that gameplay, offering that comforting familiarity, but always with a clever twist to keep players engaged.
That's right. At its core, the game wisely retained the series' established, beloved gameplay loop. That classic mixture of fluid parkour and traversal, strategic combat, and discrete stealth. The base gameplay, for the most part, remained virtually unchanged from Brotherhood, which was itself highly praised.
If it ain't broke.
Exactly. However, the developers cleverly integrated several key new features designed specifically to keep the experience feeling fresh and impactful for the player without completely reinventing the wheel.
It's that incredibly delicate tightrope walk for developers, isn't it? How do you keep what works, what fans absolutely love, but still bring enough genuinely new and exciting elements to the table to justify a new annual release?
A perennial problem.
Their main answer to that challenge, it seems, was the Hookblade. This innovative tool cleverly replaces Ezio's traditional dual hidden blade, which, as you mentioned, actually gets broken early in the game as a narrative device.
Right, sets up the need for something new.
And the Hookblade is this really clever piece of engineering. It significantly facilitates traversal. It allows Ezio to perform faster climbs, reach previously inaccessible or just much further ledges, effortlessly jump over remarkably large gaps, and crucially access this network of ziplines that are strategically placed all throughout Constantinople.
Indeed. The Hookblade was much more than just a new gadget. It felt like a fundamental shift in the traversal philosophy for the series at that point.
How so?
Well, reportedly it sped up navigation by approximately 30%, which is a significant figure, right?
Yeah, that's quite a bit faster.
This raises an important question for game design. Does such a substantial speed increase fundamentally change the player's relationship with the open world? Does it make exploration feel less like a meticulous challenge and more like fluid, almost balletic movement?
I guess it could make things feel less grounded.
Possibly, for some. But I think it signaled a subtle but significant shift. Rather than continually challenging players with intricate, sometimes puzzle-like climbing sequences, the Hookblade really embraced and amplified fluid motion. It transformed Constantinople into this playground of agile movement that felt both empowering for an older Ezio, compensating for his age, and refreshingly dynamic for the player.
So it worked for the character and the gameplay.
I think so. It allowed him to compensate for any perceived age-related limitations, but it also had surprising applications in combat. It enabled new dynamic moves like grabbing and yanking enemies towards you for seamless combo attacks, adding this layer of brutal efficiency to Ezio's fighting style.
Okay, cool. They also introduced an entirely new and pretty significant mechanic: bomb crafting.
Ah, yes, the bomb.
This innovative feature gets introduced pretty early in the story, and it allows Ezio to experiment with different shells, like, shrapnel or caltrop shells, and a wide array of ingredients, everything from sulfur to animal bone. And you could create this surprising variety of bombs with really diverse effects.
Tactical options?
Totally. You could craft highly lethal fragmentation bombs for taking out groups of enemies, sure. But you could also opt for more tactical options, like thick smoke bombs for distraction and escape, or even tripwire bombs to create strategic choke points and control enemy movement. The sources tell us there are around 15 different bomb variations available, and Ezio could equip 3 distinct types at any given time.
And this wasn't just a numerical addition, was it? It dramatically broadened Ezio's tactical toolkit. It sort of transformed him into this kind of Renaissance bomb maker, blending historical ingenuity with lethal practicality. It truly enhanced player agency. It meant combat and stealth weren't solely about hidden blades or swords anymore. You could now approach any given situation with a much more tactical mindset, strategically choosing the right bomb for the right situation.
Some more player choice.
Exactly. Imagine facing a heavily guarded courtyard. Instead of just brute force, you could now strategically combine, say, a smoke bomb for cover, a tripwire bomb to block a patrol route, and maybe a shrapnel bomb for a quick, devastating takedown. It fundamentally altered how players could approach stealth and combat scenarios, allowing for much more creative problem solving.
And similar to Brotherhood's successful system in Rome, players were given that satisfying ability to control Constantinople, not just through direct missions, but by renovating the city and engaging in what they call den defense.
Bringing back the city building.
Right. Constantinople itself is comparable in size and scope to Rome from the previous game. It's this sprawling, vibrant metropolis. And you could actively renovate it by purchasing various stores like armories, bookshops, apothecaries. This not only gave you access to the specific services and goods, but crucially, increased the passive income generated by the city, which you could conveniently collect from banks.
Money makes the world go round.
It helps. You could also renovate major iconic landmarks like the majestic Galata Tower, the awe-inspiring Hagia Sophia, the opulent Topkapi Palace. Doing that would further boost your coffers and enhance your influence across the city.
And this deep integration of urban control led directly to that engaging den defense minigame, which was a clever expansion of Brotherhood's Borgia Tower system, wasn't it?
Yeah. How did that work again?
Well, players could infiltrate and take control of Templar towers. Same as before, destroy them, eliminate the Templar captain. Standard stuff. However, a significant new twist was introduced. If Ezio's notoriety, which increased with his more visible, less stealthy actions, became too high and you hadn't yet taken over all the Templar dens in a particular district, the Templars would actively attempt to reclaim their tower. This would trigger a strategic den defense minigame. You had to control a group of your recruited assassins from the rooftops, strategically deploying them and their abilities against these relentless waves of Templar soldiers, and even siege equipment sometimes.
Like a little tower defense game.
Kind of, yeah. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these renovation and defense mechanics, they profoundly reinforce the feeling of Ezio actively building and defending the assassin influence across the entire city, not just completing isolated missions.
Made you feel responsible for the city.
Exactly. It transformed the player from just a lone operative into more of a strategic commander. It provided this tangible sense of systemic control and made you feel truly responsible for establishing and maintaining the Brotherhood's burgeoning presence in Constantinople. It really elevated the metagame, making the city itself feel like this living, breathing component of the struggle.
And the assassin recruitment and management system, a hugely popular feature, let's be honest, that also made a welcome return from Brotherhood.
Couldn't leave that out.
No way. You could still recruit assassin initiates right off the streets of Constantinople. You could call upon them for support during missions.
Yeah.
I mean, having a squad of hidden blades just drop in to assist was always immensely satisfying, wasn't it?
Yeah, the ultimate backup.
Beyond direct combat support, though, you could also send these initiates on more strategic assignments, sending them off to various Templar-controlled cities all across the Mediterranean.
It's expanding your reach.
Right. Completing these contracts successfully would not only level up your initiates, making them more skilled, granting them better equipment, but it would also crucially reduce Templar influence in that given region. Once Templar control was weakened enough, your newly empowered assassins could launch a full-scale attack to take over a city entirely.
A proper little mini-campaign.
Yeah. And to solidify your gains, prevent reconquest, you could then assign up to 5 assassins to be permanently stationed in that city. And for the most dedicated players, the highest-ranked recruits could even be assigned as den masters for your assassin-controlled towers. This allowed them to level up 5 additional ranks and unlock unique, challenging Templar hunting missions.
It truly felt like running your own vast secret agency, didn't it? You weren't just a solitary assassin anymore. You were a reviewed mentor, a strategic leader, actively building and expanding this vast network of highly skilled agents across the entire Mediterranean. This system profoundly amplified the sense of Ezio's leadership role and clearly demonstrated the expanding global reach of the Brotherhood under his command. It was this persistent, rewarding layer of gameplay that constantly reminded you of the larger war being waged, way beyond Ezio's immediate actions in Constantinople.
And beyond the main gameplay loop and those systemic mechanics, there were plenty of engaging side activities, collectibles, things like that, designed to keep players immersed in the world. You had the Piri race missions, which were essentially clever in-world tutorials that introduced you to the nuances of bomb crafting.
Learn by doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There were also various guild challenges specific to Ezio's 3 main ally factions.
Yeah.
The Swift Thieves, the Powerful Mercenaries, and the Elusive Romani. You could also embark on that charming quest to find rare ancient books for Ezio's love interest, Sophia Sartor, which deepened their bond and provided a bit more lore.
A nice touch.
And of course, the familiar collectibles were there for the completionist scattered treasure chests, shimmering Animus data fragments. But the really cool ones, the ones that truly rewarded exploration, were Ishak Pasha's memoir pages.
Ah, yes. The Hagia Sophia secret.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, the meticulous detail about Ishak Pasha's memoir pages, which, once you collected them all, would lead to this secret, unique platforming and puzzle mission hidden deep within the majestic Hagia Sophia. It was a fantastic touch.
Like the old assassin tombs.
Precisely. It was designed to be very similar to the beloved assassin tombs from previous games, brilliantly highlighting continuity within the series and offering this tangible, satisfying reward, usually a cool armor set for dedicated exploration. It felt like uncovering a true secret from the past, hidden right there in plain sight.
And the game certainly delivered diverse playable segments, which was quite innovative for its time, really.
Yeah.
While the majority of your time was spent as Ezio in 16th century Constantinople.
Which is great in itself.
Absolutely. But you also had those 6 Altair memories, each one a little window into his life, unlocked by finding those Massif keys. Then, in the modern day, you played as Desmond Miles on Animus Island. This surreal, abstract mini-hub within the Animus allowed Desmond to access 5 unique Desmond's Journey sequences.
And this mix of perspectives was truly fascinating, wasn't it? In how it deliberately broke up the traditional third-person gameplay. It offered different perspectives and even entirely different genres within a single game, like the first-person platforming and puzzle-solving segments found in Desmond's Journey, all accompanied by his introspective narration.
It was a big shift in gameplay feel for those bits.
Huge. And this raises an important question about player experience. Does this variety enhance the core experience, or does it maybe dilute it a bit?
What do you think?
Well, for many, myself included, I think it profoundly enhanced the overall narrative. It deepened the understanding of Desmond's fractured psychological state, and it offered this unique, introspective look into his past before he became the unwilling modern-day assassin. Furthermore, for the console players, Revelations also fully supported stereoscopic 3D mode for both 3D HD and 2D HD television screens. All the gameplay videos, the cinematics, had S3D support, which, while it's kind of a niche feature now...
Yeah, 3D TVs didn't quite take off as expected.
No, but it was a significant technological push at the time, aiming for maximum immersion.
Okay, now let's look beyond the robust single-player experience. Let's talk about the return of multiplayer, the additional downloadable content, and some of those interesting technical details that shaped the game's release. Multiplayer, which was first introduced in Brotherhood, it made a strong return in Revelations, didn't it?
It did. It built upon those established modes with new characters, fresh locations, and reportedly improved matchmaking and interface.
But interestingly, Ubisoft's pre-release focus, despite the multiplayer's return, remained squarely on the single-player narrative.
That's a key point, I think. It tells us a lot about the company's priorities for the franchise at that time. They explicitly stated that the overarching narrative was considered more important to the long-term health and identity of the Assassin's Creed series, an area where they intended to place greater development focus.
But they still put effort into multiplayer.
Oh, yeah. Despite that focus, they still introduced engaging new modes like story-oriented quests, capture the flag, and new deathmatch variants that refined that unique cat-and-mouse gameplay the AC multiplayer was known for. Some multiplayer maps were even beautifully rendered versions of locations like roads.
It's the servers.
Yes. However, it's always a bittersweet feeling, isn't it? When the online components of a beloved game, particularly one with such a unique multiplayer mode, ultimately go dark.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's a stark reminder of the ephemeral nature of online gaming. Ubisoft, unfortunately, announced that the multiplayer servers for Revelations, along with several other older titles, would be permanently shut down on October 1st, 2022.
So they're gone now.
They are, which unfortunately renders all multiplayer-related achievements and trophies on the original console versions completely unobtainable, a genuine loss for dedicated completionists, and just another sign of gaming's ever-changing landscape.
Yeah, that's always a tough pull for players to swallow. And on the technical side of multiplayer access, they also had that Upplay passport system in place, right? For the PS3 and Xbox 360 version.
Ah, the online pass era.
Right. This system required a one-time use code for online access, tying it to a single Upplay account, which meant if you bought a secondhand copy of the game, you typically need to purchase a new Upplay passport code to access the multiplayer component.
A common, though sometimes frustrating, practice back then.
Yeah. Additionally, players could get exclusive multiplayer characters through pre-orders, like the mischievous Ottoman jester and the formidable crusader. And they even brought back a popular character from Brotherhood's multiplayer, the enigmatic courtesan.
Little bonuses to encourage pre-orders?
Yeah, exactly. Now, beyond the core game, the Lost Archive DLC, released in February 2012, that proved to be incredibly significant for the overarching lore, didn't it?
Hugely significant. It added this compelling new campaign designed in that unique style of Desmond's journey sequences. It allowed Desmond to involuntarily experience the fragmented memories of Clay Kaczmarek, Subject 16, within that surreal environment of the Black Room.
More first-person puzzling.
Right. And what's truly fascinating here is how the Lost Archive retroactively added crucial lore and character depth, particularly for Clay Kaczmarek. And, more controversially perhaps, it cemented Lucy Stillman's shocking betrayal, tying it directly into the overarching plot of the entire series.
So it explained why she did what she did at the end of Brotherhood.
Pretty much. Through Clay's memories, we learn about his heartbreaking backstory. His father's dismissive disregard for his career goals, his eventual recruitment into the Assassins by none other than William Miles, Desmond's own father. Clay then courageously infiltrated Abstergo's Animus project in Rome, where he became the ill-fated Subject 16, enduring endless Animus sessions for the Templars' research.
And it was during his time as Subject 16 that Clay uncovered that devastating truth. Lucy Stillman, who seemed like a loyal assassin, someone Desmond had come to trust implicitly.
His guide out of Abstergo.
Exactly. She'd actually betrayed the Brotherhood and secretly joined the Templars. Her motivations were complex, apparently stemming from a deep distrust of William Miles's leadership and this feeling of abandonment by the Assassin Order.
Adds layers to her character, definitely.
The DLC reveals she was masterminding something called Project Siren, a cunning plan to extract Desmond from Abstergo's clutches, not to save him, but to exploit the Assassin's resources to locate an Apple of Eden for the Templars. With the sinister ultimate goal of developing a satellite-based mind control system.
Whoa, okay, big Templar plot.
Yeah. When Lucy realized that Clay had pieced together her treacherous plan, she made this calculated decision. She imprisoned him inside the Abstergo facility, ostensibly to protect him and keep her allegiances secret. This prolonged isolation, combined with the intense Animus exposure, tragically led to Clay's eventual insanity and ultimately his death.
And the DLC's narrative masterfully culminates in this loop of these fragmented memories, constantly replaying until Desmond meticulously collects all the scattered data fragments. This unlocks a final, profoundly poignant memory.
What was that?
Clay sending this heartbreaking email to his estranged father, foreshadowing his impending suicide but reassuring him not to worry because he has found a greater purpose. This powerful sequence truly fleshes out Subject 16's tragic story, transforming him from just this mysterious figure into a deeply empathetic character whose self-sacrifice in the main game becomes even more impactful and meaningful. It really underscores the weight of the choices made in this shadowy war.
Wow. Okay, diving into the development insights for Revelations, it's incredible to really think about how many hands, how many brilliant minds are involved in bringing a game of this scale to life, and how much intricate planning goes into a narrative arc that spans a decade or more.
It's mind-boggling, yeah.
Initially, Assassin's Creed. Revelations was actually conceived as a much smaller, handheld Nintendo 3DS game. It was called Assassin's Creed Lost Legacy.
Really? A 3DS game?
Yeah. That game was apparently going to be about Ezio traveling east to Masyaf to discover the origins of the Assassin Order, but it was quietly canceled during development. However, rather than just scrapping the idea entirely, its core concept, Ezio's journey to Masyaf to seek answers, was cleverly integrated directly into Revelations, enriching its narrative scope considerably.
That really highlights the iterative and adaptive nature of large-scale game development, doesn't it? How initial ideas can evolve and transform into something much, much grander.
Definitely. Ubisoft also had a very clear and ambitious strategy for its most popular franchises back then. Annual releases. despite an earlier public statement that no Assassin's Creed game would be released in 2011.
Oops.
Yeah, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot personally confirmed a big Assassin's Creed game for that very year, reiterating their steadfast goal for consistent annual releases for their most popular series. To achieve this, Revelations was developed primarily by Ubisoft Montreal, the series' lead studio, but they had significant, indispensable support from 5 other Ubisoft studios located around the world: Annecy, Massive, Quebec, Singapore, and Bucharest.
That represents a truly immense collaborative effort, a testament to the logistical challenges of such a grand undertaking.
Lead writer Darby McDevitt, who was a key architect of the series' lore, he had been very upfront about it, stating that while Revelations wouldn't answer all the burning questions fans had about the series' vast mythology.
Which would be impossible anyway.
Right. But it would definitively resolve most of the important details concerning Ezio and Altair's lives, and how their individual journeys fit into the grand scheme of the Assassins and Templars. He even famously claimed that an astonishing 85% of Assassin's Creed's overarching decade-spanning plot was already mapped out 2 years prior to Revelations' release, and that Ezio's ultimate fate had been meticulously planned as far back as the development of Brotherhood.
That level of long-term narrative planning is truly staggering for such a sprawling franchise.
Isn't it? And we also have an interesting insight from the voice acting side. Nolan North, the prolific voice actor for Desmond Miles.
A legend.
He actually publicly urged Ubisoft to adopt full performance capture methods, similar to those pioneered by Naughty Dog for their critically acclaimed Uncharted series. He felt there was this notable disconnect in Ubisoft's then current setup, where voice actors provided the facial animation separately in a sound booth from the body motion capture, which was performed by different actors.
Interesting point.
North believed there was a significant intangible difference in the final character performance when actors could embody both aspects simultaneously, leading to more cohesive and authentic portrayals. On the technical side, the PC version of Revelations was notable for not requiring players to always be online, a significant shift from its predecessors, which had implemented that controversial always-online DRM.
A welcome change for PC players.
Definitely. It only needed a one-time online activation, permanently binding the game code to the player's account. This is a direct response to widespread player feedback, and, Ubisoft claimed, a successful measure in reducing piracy at the time.
The marketing for Revelations was also pretty extensive and multifaceted, wasn't it? Leveraging different platforms and partnerships.
Oh yeah. There was that PlayStation Network timed exclusive multiplayer beta launched in September 2011, initially for PlayStation Plus and Upplay members, which later opened up to all PSN users. This beta offered early access to 9 distinct characters, 3 diverse maps, and 4 playable modes, including the new Deathmatch and Artifact Assault variants.
Wow.
Created early buzz, gathered valuable player feedback.
Smart move.
They also engaged in clever cross-promotions, like that adorable Ezio costume for Sackboy and Little Big Planet 2, which delighted fans of both franchises. And as a special partnership with Sony, all PlayStation 3 Day 1 copies of Revelations were notably bundled with the original Assassin's Creed game directly on the disc, at least in European territories, offering incredible value and a great way for new players to experience the saga from its very beginning.
Absolutely. And the release was also accompanied by this dazzling array of various retail editions, each thoughtfully packed with exclusive content designed to entice different tiers of fans.
The collector's editions.
Exactly. The Animus, Collector's, Special, Signature, Gold, Ultimate Bundle, and Ottoman editions offered basically everything from beautifully designed exclusive packaging, in-depth encyclopedias detailing the lore, stunning art books showcasing the game's visuals,
Soundtracks.
full soundtracks, even the Assassin's Creed, Ember's movie DVD, which served as a proper, poignant, animated conclusion to Ezio's life story, going beyond the game itself.
Right, that was a separate thing.
In-game, these editions granted access to an exclusive single-player mission called Vlad the Impaler Prison, which tied into real history, exclusive multiplayer characters like the Crusader, the menacing Ottoman Jester, the Ottoman Doctor, unique armor sets for Ezio, such as the historically inspired armor of Brutus and Turkish armor, practical capacity upgrades for hidden gun bullets and bombs, and even Altair's iconic robes as pre-order bonuses, allowing players to truly customize their experience.
Lots of goodies.
And the Upplay system, Ubisoft's proprietary rewards program, also offered further in-game enhancements, redeemable with points earned by simply playing the game, unlocking exclusive themes, solo mission packs, additional Mediterranean exclusive missions, and even a night character for multiplayer. This multi-tiered approach really capitalized on player investment and encouraged those premium purchases.
And beyond the Lost Archive DLC, which we discussed, there were other significant downloadable content packs released to extend the game's life, weren't there?
The Ancestors character pack was launched in December 2011. It added 4 new, distinct multiplayer characters for players to embody: the cunning privateer, the swashbuckling corsair, the rugged brigand, and the fierce gladiator, each with their own unique flair and abilities.
More multiplayer variety.
Exactly. And in January 2012, the Mediterranean Traveler map pack came out, expanding the multiplayer battlegrounds by adding 6 new maps, 3 of which were actually popular fan-favorite maps returning from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, like Siena, Florence, and San Donato, offering a mix of fresh and familiar environments.
Okay, so all of this post-launch content alongside the various editions truly contributed to the overall value proposition of the game, keeping players engaged long after its initial release. Now, let's turn our attention to the critical reception and lasting legacy of Assassin's Creed: Revelations. Upon its release, the game received
Well, generally positive reviews across the board, right? Metacritic scores consistently hovering around the 80 out of 100 mark across all platforms.
pretty solid, yeah.
The praise, as you'd probably expect, often centered on the game's beautifully realized world design, particularly the vibrant and historically rich Constantinople, and most notably, that incredibly powerful and satisfying narrative, especially the emotional conclusions delivered for Ezio and Altair.
The story really resonated.
It did. IGN, a prominent gaming publication, called it the best Assassin's Creed yet, even if that victory is claimed by an inch and not a mile, highlighting its subtle improvements. Official PlayStation Magazine UK, equally enthusiastic, declared it an utterly brilliant swan song for Ezio, perfectly capturing the sentiment of fans bidding farewell to a beloved hero. High praise indeed.
It felt like a classic case, maybe, of a well-established series hitting that point where radical innovation becomes harder to achieve within an annual release cycle. But the core experience, bolstered by that strong narrative, remained incredibly strong and compelling. It's a challenging balance for any long-running franchise to maintain, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and this raises that very important question that many developers of annual franchises grapple with. How much new does a sequel truly need to feel genuinely innovative, especially within a yearly release cycle?
Where's the line?
Exactly. While the Hookblade, for instance, offered that concrete 30% speed increase in navigation, a measurable improvement, some critics still felt that the newly introduced features were maybe lacking or didn't fundamentally change the game enough to warrant the full excitement of a brand new installment.
Some fatigue setting in.
Possibly. For example, Edge, a respected publication, stated that the series has been quietly compromised by age, hinting at a stagnation of the core formula. Eurogamer, another influential voice, noted pointedly, Ezio may look old, but it's the series itself that really shows its age.
Ouch.
Videogamer.com somewhat wistfully called it a game of nearly and might have been, suggesting missed opportunities for more radical change. And GamePro's sentiment that obligation shouldn't be the primary reason to play something echoed a growing fatigue among some critics. This reveals that palpable tension between refinement and radical change, a recurring challenge that many annual franchises, not just Assassin's Creed, frequently face. Despite the refinements and narrative strengths, the underlying gameplay formula was starting to feel a bit too familiar for a segment of the critical audience.
Right. But despite some of that critical fatigue on the gameplay innovation front commercially,
Yeah.
Revelations was an absolute juggernaut.
Oh, absolutely smashed it.
Its pre-orders were significantly higher than Brotherhood's, which was already a huge success, even though Ubisoft itself initially projected a double-digit decline in sales, perhaps anticipating that fatigue. But they were pleasantly proven wrong.
Way wrong.
It ended up being the 4th best-selling game in the U.S. in November 2011, according to the MPD Group. And overall sales were up a remarkable 10% year-on-year compared to Brotherhood. That's truly outstanding for a direct sequel in an annual release cycle.
It truly highlights that fascinating and common phenomenon in the gaming industry where strong narrative conclusions for beloved characters can, in terms of consumer appeal, significantly override gameplay criticisms.
It already trumps gameplay sometimes.
It seems so. It vividly demonstrates the immense power of emotional investment in a long-running franchise. Revelations debuted at a strong 2nd place in the UK sales chart, notably outperforming Brotherhood by a clear 4% in units sold and an impressive 8% in revenue generated. At the time of its release, it wasn't just the best-performing title in the series to date, but also Ubisoft's highest-grossing game in its entire history. with an astounding 61% of its total sales occurring within the first 24 hours alone.
61%? That's insane.
By February 15, 2012, just a few months after launch, it had shipped a massive 7 million copies worldwide. Clearly, despite any critical quibbles about innovation, the fans overwhelmingly showed up for Ezio's grand finale, eager to see how his story, and by extension Altair's, would finally conclude, driving its undeniable commercial triumph.
So what does this entire deep dive into Assassin's Creed Revelations mean for you, the learner, listening right now? We've just peeled back the layers of a true cornerstone in a massive, sprawling gaming universe.
A really important piece of the puzzle.
Definitely. You've seen firsthand how game developers meticulously weave incredibly complex historical narratives with mind-bending science fiction elements, how they bravely balance vital innovation with comforting familiarity, and how a story can span generations, even centuries, while still feeling profoundly personal and emotionally resonant to the player. Assassin's Creed Revelations wasn't just another annual release, it was a narrative linchpin, a critical turning point that brought centuries of deep lore and two beloved protagonists, Ezio and Altair, to a deeply satisfying yet also powerfully forward-looking close.
And that profound conclusion where Ezio, in his final wise moments, speaks directly to Desmond through the Animus, acknowledging his role as a conduit for a message across time and expressing that powerful hope that Desmond would find the ultimate answers. That leaves us with a truly fascinating and reflective idea, doesn't it?
What's that?
Are we, the players, also conduits in some way? Are we, through these deep dives into shared experiences, into meticulously crafted virtual worlds, part of a larger transmission of knowledge and understanding, much like the Animus itself? What revelations might you find in your own journey to connect the dots? In the stories you consume, in the complex information you encounter, or even in the seemingly disparate events of your own life?
That's something to think about. How do your own personal stories, your own experiences fit into larger historical or societal narratives? Keep digging for those deeper insights. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll catch you on the next one.